talk about that foundation a bit so that you will have a clarity. You see, the last session, if you have heard it again, I'm just making it clear. Take an example of a smartphone. It's powerful, it's effective, but its a power and effectiveness depends on its operating system and the apps we install in it. Dennis knows much more than me. I'm just giving a metaphor. So, this Sadhana Panchkam, the 40 steps, is like an advanced operating system for our mind, for our intellect. To make it very simple and clear, it optimizes my mental processes and it installs different apps. For what? For wisdom, for understanding, for realizing the real self. Now, just question and understand it clearly. What is that understanding? Situation is outside. What is that situation? Look at this. For me, what is outside? A monitor. You all guys are there. You all are listening. That is a situation. So we meet millions of situations every day. Clear? And mind is inside, right? So what is the interaction between the mind and the outer situation? Are you getting it? Understand this. This is what the Sadhana Panchkam is. Wow, how this you came and you say that you are crazy. My mental state changes. But why this situation has changed my mental state? Because I expected you to appreciate me, but you did not. Instead of appreciating, you say that I'm crazy. Then what happened? Inside, inner mind, independent. Outer situation, independent. But what happened between them? Then I get upset. Now ask yourself why you get upset. Because I already have an impression, idea, thought, desire that you are going to appreciate this beard guy, but you did not. So I have to install something in the mind so that I'm not affected by any outer situation at any point of time. Are you getting it? Say yes. So then what happens now? So the mind rediscovers its natural state of calmness coming from the consciousness. Did you get it? It is not at all affected. The tree full of oranges in Arizona are beautiful. I go to the tree and I say, oh, what a wonderful tree you are. Anything happens to the tree? And if I say you are really wonderful, I really appreciate, what happens to me? You are crazy, what happens to me? The entire journey of likes and dislikes and desires, binding desires, craziness, huh? Anger and hesitation comes from this relationship. So the last week I gave an example of 15 plus 5 is 20. It always should remain 20. my mental state should indicate it is only 20. That is why I gave you an example that we date. What a wonderful you are. So I have variable responses coming from the ignorance of the mind. They are old software. I have to replace it. How? By sadhana panchkam. That is, so what happened? You constantly live into that awareness. Also, I have to be very careful, alert. No, you have to be just normal, common sense approach. But in that common sense approach, there are different softwares, applications are installed. What are those applications? Discernment and dispassion and calmness. How the calmness here can be disturbed by any situation outside? That is why we are learning. So we recognize the changing nature of my perception, internal perception, outer situation. Getting it? I'm explaining in a very simple way. That is the beauty of these 40 steps. Outer situation. Situation may be anything. You meet someone, you have an event going on. Yesterday, that guy was saying that I feel so calm, but in that group, in that group, uh, Jerry and David knows that guy, landscaping business. So, and then he was in a group, and the group called his name and said that, "Oh, come on and speak." I said, so he corroborated this fact I was talking about from the Gita. So he said, outer situation was the same before and just after he was requested to speak to a group. But I had an anxiety. Oh, what to say, what to speak. Are you getting it? We don't understand this. We are living unconsciously. Every day we meet our honey. The past impression in the mind takes over. Subconsciously, habitually, even if I'm not speaking, I have to become conscious. I have to live into that awareness so that internal perception does not change because of the outer situation. Are you getting it? Am I making it simple? The guy is begging and he is hurt and the blood is coming out. Whether we have empathy or sympathy, these are the two applications of the mind. Let me make it very simple. That is what it teaches in 40 steps. So recognize, I should recognize the changing nature of my perception based on events, situation, people, relationship, and remind the mind that I'm seeking an unchanging truth. I don't want to give responses. You are very close to me. What happened to you? I hug you. There is another guy who is very distant from me. And I said, okay, Dad, well, he is reaping his fruits. Do you see? My internal perception changes. That is causing a lot of problem in our daily life. I can bet you. It results into anxiety, duality, conflict, problem, suffering. So I am seeking the unchanging truth. I have to update this operating system of the mind, and I will install those apps which will clear my various level of perception which causes the problem to me. It causes anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict. I believe you're getting it. That is what I discussed last time. So understand. So it means what? I have to understand the role of the mind. How the mind perceives. Because from that perception, my thought, speech, and action will manifest. Because of my perception, thought, speech, and action will manifest. What the thought says, you are responsible for my problem. You don't understand. Get out. It is my internal perception. It has nothing to do with that guy. Just imagine that it has nothing to do with that guy. What happens to your mind? Your mind lives into that state of calmness. Are you getting? That is what, look at the beauty and the subtle nature of understanding of our masters. Again, this is not me. I'm just giving my expression. That is all. I'm giving through the metaphor, example, because I contemplate. So that is what you need to contemplate. In that state of the mind only, we can find the real self. Otherwise, there is no possibility. You continue, your eyes are closed, and you continue practicing meditation for 3 hours and 5 hours for 10 years. Nothing is going to change. Because my internal perception, I did not understand. So every time I sit for meditation, I have some anxiety for you, and that anxiety comes down. But after that, ignorance continues to lead me. That is the reason of divorce. That is the reason of enmity. That is the reason of our frustration. Are you getting it? Simple way. I made it very simple. Last time, it might have been difficult. And that is why, can you recall? Do you remember 4 types of intellect? That is why we need 4 types of intellect. You see the application. First step, first intellect, righteous intellect, first step, second step, third step, love intellect. Now, you are not affected by outer situation. You continue to move into that emotional poise. That is called the emotional quotient. Are you understanding? We are going so deeper. You go into the Google and find out what is the definition of emotional quotient. They are they are more philosophical. Here it is very pragmatic approach. We have to apply these 4 apps of the any app has certain power. So we have 4 powers of the intellect. And then you can judge the result. Application is very famous. That is what we have to apply the wisdom in order to change. Now, I also ask you another question. Do you practice every day? Do you apply these principles in your life every day, the moment you wake up in the morning until you sleep? You live into that state. Oh, I have a new application installed, so I have to talk like this. I have to communicate like this. I have to act like this. In the beginning, it will have some challenges, but after a few days and weeks, you are a different person. It is the process of evolution. It is the process of rising in awareness. It is the process of approaching near to the real self. Your responses may be the same to a person whom you don't like or whom you like. Status quo. Status quo here. That is what we discussed, like changing nature of the perception. I have to recognize it comes from the mind. It comes from the internal perception of that situation, of that person, of that relationship. We are going deeper. We all are seekers. So that is why. So I have to question the validity of my changing perception, followed by the changing responses. And once you take this principle and understand it, and you regulate your thought, speech, and action, life will never be the same again. Life will never be the same. Are you getting it? I believe you're getting it. So you have to explain through your contemplation by this Shanti mantra that how my internal perception changes and it should not change. How? Which mantra? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahi. Ashok, even to your honey, forget about others. So Om Sahana Bhavatu. So it is installing the app. Find out. Protect both of us. Now you see, you have to contemplate and reflect on this mantra. I'm not explaining further about this mantra in this week. You have to apply this. You meet any situation, you meet any situation, Sahana Bhavatu. Are you getting it? Sahana Bhunaktu. First, you start with this. Why you have new app installed? Do you know how these Shanti mantras are so deep, so subtle? I have given already more than 10 different explanations. Upanishads are known as the cream of the entire Eastern wisdom. And in the very beginning, they put these different Shanti mantras. What it means? One Upanishad, how many pages? 200 pages. And on the top, the Shanti mantra. So highest level of the seeker only goes to the Shanti mantra and he knows the essence of that Upanishad. Finished. I have to reach to that level. I understood it. Good. That's all. Sahana Bhunaktu. Just see that. My internal perception undergoes a change. Please start applying these principles in your daily life. First few days, few times, you'll be frustrated, no problem. But consistency should be there. You have an empathy, and the guy may say that, why you are showing your ego? Calm down. Don't change your internal perception. Don't have a variable responses. You have to take care of your software. Why? Because I have to rise in awareness. Why? I have to approach near to the real self. Why? I have to awaken to the real self. Think. Putting everything logically, I told you, Eastern wisdom is 200%. That is why we say that Shanti mantra has to. I wake up in the morning and I pick up any Shanti mantra, Om Purnamada Purna, first 5 minutes. Why? Either mind is upset, it will correct it. Mind is not upset, I will rise in awareness. But question is, as a seeker, do I really remember I have to do it? I forget it. Why I forget it? Yesterday I had a fight with my honey. So those impressions welcome me in the morning. Why I fought with it? My internal perception. There is no status quo. It has a variable responses. Why I have been living with the honey for so many years. Now enough is enough. You see, those thought wake up. With any situation, with any relationship, I'm just honey means any situation else. We have to change. If you don't change, if you don't think, speak, and act according to this journey of the Eastern wisdom, you don't reflect, no change will come. No change will come. So you have to ask yourself, what are the practices I should be doing daily? Just for 5 minutes, you just do that practice. Why you do only for 5 minutes during the in the morning? Whenever the situation arises, for a higher seeker, now, oh, this is a new situation. Mentally, you are saying Sahana Bhavtu and see what happens. Why? Saying Sahana Bhavtu, you have activated the four application of the intellect in order to maintain the status quo. Am I more technical now today? No. Everything is okay. I'm just trying to give you the example. It's Dennis Forte, he's a IT expert, but I try to. So that way, we install these apps. You install these apps while facing a situation. Honey, or any situation, and your mind wanted to react, and you say righteous intellect, dispassion. Why? I've already given you the answer. So we have done enough of almost 18 sessions. I'm laying a strong foundation for this journey of the Sadhana Panchkam. Many of the principles I have already discussed that we will take up from the next session, what is the first 4 and 5 sessions. First 4 steps, sorry, not sessions, first 4 or 5 steps. Or we can say 5, 4, when we talk about it, then we will discuss. So that those 5 steps you will see in these 18 sessions that we had. So I'm taking a reference again from the Gita. Now I explained you now how it is explained in the Gita. I said about internal perception, it changes because of the situation, people, relationship. I'm questioning my mind why you are changing. Why don't you have the perception of the situation or a person as it is? So why it happens? It changes. Internal perception changes, maybe because of expectation, duality, conflict, desire, attachment, detachment. So where the problem is located? Here. So now the Krishna says, for those who are free from the desire and hesitation because of the expectations, you can enter easily into the meditation and you can awaken to yourself. That is why you need a teacher. Otherwise, you simply translate. What is the translation? For those who are free from desire and hesitation. I have understood philosophically. No. For the self disciplined seeker, self disciplined seeker. Seeker never leaves the practice at any moment of time in their life. Why? Because they have to evolve. They live within. It is living within, whose minds are disciplined, whose mind is. Now, talk about the internal perception, mental perception. What you need? Satsang. Did I not brief about the satsang? Adhito Brahma Nirvanam. So here our master Krishna says, you can have a flash, you can have maybe a glimpse of the real self just by doing this. Yes, just by doing this. Yes, which I covered in 18 sessions. The intellect understands that real self is an unchanging entity. When I transform my mind, maintain a status quo, in that mind, I get the glimpse of the real self. It's not a big deal. Mirror, I get a glimpse of my image. And if the mirror is constantly moving, means it gives you the variable perception, then what happens? Then what happens? I believe the things are clear. So when I have variable responses, I have an old software programmed by the nature, impulses, desires, attachment, expectations, duality, conflict. Install the 4 app of the intellect, the 4 types of the intellect. Did I make the things very lucid and clear? Okay, let me close my eyes, do the japa. It will not work. Close my eyes and practice meditation. You have been doing the practice for 10 years. What happened? Nothing happened. You might have seen a lot of people. So in the fourth line of the it exists for those who have known the self, but to whom that is all pervading, who knows it, does not accept it. No, now what the master is saying in a very cryptic language, our master Krishna, he said it exists. What exists? The real self exists. For those whose mind is, either you say pure, or you say status quo, or you say it is not affected by the outer situation. It takes years to reach to that state. It takes step-by-step approach to reach to that state. Give me another metaphor. Today you wake up in the morning and now you are analyzing your daily life before going to the sleep. And your mind says, I had no event, situation for any form of anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict, attachment. No. So, how the life was today, I was just flying in the air. You're living into that higher awareness. It is not that you reacted outwardly. There is no even the emotional and a mental reaction did take place in the mind also throughout the day. Status quo. This is what the master is talking about. When we have that awareness, that is what master is talking about. Install the new software. Now you find the situation. So you have four apps. Righteous into the dispassion, into the love, into the real self. Into your mind reminds you, I'm real self. You know what I have to do with this situation. Say, for example, you are arguing, you are fighting. And suddenly, the fourth type of the intellect, you, simply mind reminds you, what is that real self? You know, I'm the real self. You know, I'm of the nature of peace. And why should I be angry? Why should I argue? You withdraw yourself. Krishna, the way Krishna explains it, it goes out of our head. But this is what we have covered in the last two sessions. So then he explains that what happens, you shut out all the external senses with awareness. Eyes are open. It is receiving, the person is reacting. But the mind says, so translation. If I translate that verse, it means shutting out all external sense contact. You see the language, the way it is written. Fixing the gaze between the eyebrows, I told you. You are aware of the flow of the breath. Take it that in that way, but I will change it later. So just, I'm aware of let me check the flow of the breath. You can do an experiment. What experiment? You are upset with me. Continue to pay attention to the flow of the breath. If your internal mind is upset, your flow of the breath will change. You can do it with your near and the dear ones. You will recognize, oh, mind is thinking something else. Mind has somewhat reaction. Outside, I'm saying, I love you, I hug you. Third, equalizing the inward and the outward breath. Take this inward and outward breath as the internal perception, outer situation. It's a metaphor. I'll prove that later. Moving within the nostril. So what happens? You have not variety of responses coming because of likes, dislikes, because of binding desire, because of mind is. So what is going to happen? Neither the senses nor the mind nor the intellect is receiving any input from the situation outside, people outside, relationship outside, which will disturb your mental calm. Why the mental calmness is disturbed? Because of my expectations, because of my projection. My projection outside. You are good, you're bad, you're good, like this, you're intelligent, mind continues to have that. So now what the Master Krishna says, with the senses, mind, and intellect self-disciplined. We are talking of stages of meditation. So I broke up into the parts. Huh? So now you understood. And then what he says, the seeker intent. Now the seeker has only one desire. What is that desire? Awakening. Only one desire. Also, all the exercises that we are doing to help the mind to keep only one desire, yes, I can do that. Just do it today and let me see. Do it today. Let me see, can you do it? Do you think it's so easy? It's so easy. Now, oh, I can do it. One guy told me, I can do it. So please do it. And I told you the next session will be the last session. That's why I lose sometimes many people. But I will not move away from the Eastern West. Free from the now master what says. The seeker intent on awakening. Now again he is stressing. My internal perception changes because of my desire, expectation, attachment, detachment. So the master is saying, why you have that only one desire? Because you are free from the expectations and attachment. But how come you have already installed the four applications? I'll not repeat it, you know. Then what happens? The master makes such a big statement. You're already free. I need not to tell you that whether you have to realize the real self. We are already absorbed into meditation. He says that is indeed liberated forever. Look at it. He says you are liberated. While explaining, so he's explaining our stages of meditation. So if my mind accepts, assimilates, I'm already there. This is what the master is saying. That is why the Gita is considered one of the greatest texts. So I thought better to give you some brief ideas. And now let us move into that stage. Eyes are closed. Gently, do not squeeze your eyes. I need not to say now because you are higher seeker. I need not to say even the place of the body, wherever you are. Any place you put your body, there has to be a space. Now I'm coming and explaining to you. So I see that infinite nature of the space where I place the body. So I can place the body in any space, anywhere. Even I can meditate outside my home. But what the people will say, internal perception. What people will say. People will say, so you are aware of the space outside your body. So I'm going slowly. I'm just giving you. Okay, and then position of the body. I'm not explaining, you know it. And posture. So posture, when I say posture or a pose, it means there is an intense awareness. In that awareness, you experience a sense of stillness in the body. Some people, I not in this session, but in other session, they say it takes them half the time. They're moving, they're scratching their head, and a lot of stuff. I said posture. But that is the journey we have to undertake. Then being comfortable, another point of understanding. So it is the internal perception of being comfortable gives you an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Being carefree, you have to correlate by reflecting, contemplating today's session that what is what is in the talk about being carefree. You're not influenced, indirected, affected by any outer situation. Is it not being carefree? And if you are moving the body constantly, it will not work. And then we are already in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So we rise in awareness. So from where this attachment, detachment, and anxiety comes, so we separate it. And that is why I am asking you with reference to the neighbor. The outermost neighbor is the world outside. Neighbor is not you, the first neighbor. And that outer world contains your mom, your dad, your son, daughter, your situation, your finances, your profession, etc., your house, your car, everything. That's outermost neighbor. So neighbor is not me. You just maintain that awareness. How? By the dispassion intellect app that you have already installed it. I'm just making, joining these threads. Second neighbor is the body. Yes, neighbor, you are neighbor, but you're not me. So the way I put the car into my garage, it stands still, so the body is, which we have done in the previous step of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Do you see the way I design these practices? And then third neighbor is the breath, equal flow of the breath. On one hand, you are aware of the third neighbor, and on the other hand, you are aware of the flow of the breath. Both the purpose are served. Fourth neighbor, mind. Did you install the new software? Straight away you ask, are you okay? No, I still have the past impression and the thoughts are coming and going. Let it come and go. They are disturbing me. No, let them come in. Don't raise it out. I still have a lot of thoughts. But they are not you. They represent the outer situation. You are separate from it. Your mind remains in the state of calmness. Oh, then the fifth neighbor is my intellect and the I-ness. Check. All the four softwares are there. App is there. And the last neighbor, do I know real self? No, I don't know. That is the body. That is the sixth neighbor. Oh, so I have to break this. And so you see that we want to jump into that real self, leaving all the six neighbors, and we introduce Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Do you see that? If you look deeply with clarity and understanding, you will find out, oh yes, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Your mind wants to jump beyond the six neighbors. Why? Happiness is the essence of all the beings, including the ant and the elephant and the lion and the flies in my home, me and you and the honey. Everyone is looking for that. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Peace is a common factor if I speak of mathematics. I'm very weak in mathematics otherwise, but at present we say that it's a common factor. So when we see the common factor, the mind dissolves all the six neighbors. Are you getting it? Look at the beauty and the subtle nature, the way our masters explains the journey. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. I'm complete in myself. That is my internal perception. Status quo is minting. I'm incomplete in myself. That is why I'm expecting something from the situation. So I have a variable perception. Are you clear? These Shanti mantras, what should I say? Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. So, in the stage when you lay such a strong foundation, it will continue to happen, and the day will come just by following the stage one of this meditation journey. One day you will see, when you are doing it on your own, you will see, oh, I can continue to sit for another hour. And if that happens, tell me. I'm taking for granted that you're practicing daily. Now we'll move to the second stage. We have changed the breathing pattern. What we have changed first, looking inside the forehead in the space. Yeah, there you drop gently the Om Shanti, maintaining the stillness in the body. And then instead of quick and fast breathing, you do the long and the hissing breath into the rib cage. You can hear my sound of my breath. Totally fill the rib cage and totally empty the rib cage. So it hits the head inside, the brain inside. Brain here is taken as a mind. Continue, continue. Long in the hissing breath. Don't do it with a jerk. Ashok, don't do it with a jerk. No fighting with you. And stop it. Check the flow of the breath. Check the flow of the breath, my friends. Simultaneously, you can also see the experiences changes. We'll do the second round of this breath. Om Shanti continues, stillness continues. Start breathing long in the hissing breath. Your rib cage goes up and expands. You feel the experience of all the ribs. And breathing out, totally empty the lungs from the rib cage. Totally fill the rib cage with air and experience all the ribs goes too far from one another, starting from the collarbone to the last rib. And while breathing out, every rib almost joins together. Did you understand the hissing in the long breathing into rib cage so much so that inhaling rib ribs go too far from each other, one another, and breathing out, ribs almost touch each other, means you empty the lungs. It's a practical application. Continue. And you already remember the resistance is there is countered by endurance. Endurance is a quality of the intellect. Hesitation is the quality of the mind. Luckily, I believe you have both. And stop this hissing. Take your awareness on the flow of the breath and the changes you are experiencing. Today we are going to do the 3 rounds. This kind of a breathing helps a great deal, and will continue. I'll explain you each and every aspect. You need not to. So now the third round, Om Shanti continues, stillness continues, continue with the long and the hissing breath into the rib cage and breathing out from the rib cage, all the ribs joins together, all the ribs go too far during inhalation. Please continue. Long in the hissing breath, not the fast one. Why not the fast one? So that you cannot check all the ribs are expanded fully, go too far during inhalation and touch each other during exhalation because it is fast and quick. So we have left that. It is long, hissing breath. So how to know that you are doing it? When you inhale, you expand all the ribs. They go too far from one another. And when you exhale, they almost they touch each other. Means you have squeezed it. And stop this. Looking at the flow of the breath and experience the changes. It may be tingling, numbness, freezing, lightness in the body, a sense of as if the body has dissolved and I have to do just nothing. I just want to stay. Maintain the status quo comes from the mind to the body to the breath. We have to reach there. We will talk about that later. And now we will go directly looking Deep inside the heart, the cave of your heart, visualize the triangle of any color. Move the mind on each side of a triangle, clockwise, anti-clockwise, dropping on Shanti. Check you are sinking and you find, oh, it's already a sinking. Sink is there. Oh, the moment it is sink is there, you chant mentally, loudly, mentally, loudly, means loudly in your mind. And pushing the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. Cave of the heart here means you're bypassing all the six neighbors. And Shanti, absorb. Thoughts may be too far from you. Let it be there. They are not disturbing you, they are too far. How can you become unconscious like a stone in meditation? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. Share your experiences. How are you, Brandy?
Got it. I'm good, thank you. I think the lesson today really helped with the app, which makes me wonder if I'm spending too much time on my phone these days, because I was able to see during the meditation the neighbors a little bit differently. So maybe Dennis could build us an app, with the imagery. But I was able to like kind of go through the stages and create some space there today in
Yeah.
a new way. It was helpful. Thank you.
Yes, yes. First is the understanding, and second is its application. So you start teaching yourself how expressing thought, speech, and action in your personal, professional, social life out of Eastern wisdom. So first I have to teach my mind and myself, and then if I like to teach Eastern wisdom, definitely I'll prepare that plan also. You can be also a teacher. Beautiful. Thank you. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good, thank you. As you know, I absolutely love the metaphors, the analogies, and we've all had a computer that we get that has native software and it works fine, and then we add new software and we get complications, and then the thing crashes and we end up going to the Apple bar to try and get it fixed, and what they do is they reset it. So effectively, we just need to be resetting our mind all the time, constantly. Felt very, very light and free through the meditation. Thank you.
Beautiful. You have further explained. I appreciate it. Yes. Oh, native software, you use the word and then it hangs up, then we remove the virus and we clean the computer, we update the software. That is what is Eastern wisdom is asking for us to do. And I already gave an application, or those are the four apps, which gives you the four powers, which gives you the four results. Choice is ours. We have to teach ourselves. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. The meditation was deep. The breathing was equal, calm, peaceful. My takeaway was on those variables being the power tool, because if we have any variables in our reactions, then we know that the status quo isn't updated. we're not clear. We're not rooted in that. So it's not to beat ourselves up. It's just an opportunity to know that we're not quite there.
Yes, you raised a beautiful mind, because we do not know that this mind is causing the problem, because that mind, that internal software is not updated. So I have the same kind of reaction. I have the same kind of seeking the pleasure, for example, with the food, and then we repeat it again, repeat it again. And the time comes, now I don't like this food, I like something else. So I don't question why it is happening, why I'm asking this, why my mind is demanding this. So when you don't ask, you fall into the trap of pleasure and the pain, attachment and detachment. So should I stop eating pasta? No, we are not talking of what is happening outside. I'm talking of internal state, status quo. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. I'm fine. And I appreciate the metaphor with the software because this is almost the same way how I contemplate on my own when I think about these principles. And as far as my meditation, it was very enjoyable this time and very, very deep state of calmness and clarity at the end. And it continues almost the same state continues after the meditation. So thank
Beautiful.
you.
Beautiful. Like Dennis, you should also, if you have not gone through the basics of computing, it is better to read and or listen from the YouTube videos and then compare it. Use that metaphor for the mind, and you will see it will be a deeper understanding whenever you have time. Otherwise, I know we all are busy, so busy, but busy in something variable, not busy in status quo. Beautiful. How are you, Barbara?
I'm good, thank you. I always found it difficult to visualize the cave of my heart. But today, when you explained that it means dissolving the six neighbors, it all became clear.
Yes. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Everyone's mind is different. So that is why I try to create many metaphor and parables to make us understand. Today it just came to my mind. And just I spoke it. I should have spoken before. But that is the way the Eastern wisdom works. When you are doing the practice regularly, oh, today I have understood. But mind was searching that what it means, cave of the heart. Cave of the heart simply means leave aside. You have left aside, kept aside all the six neighbors outside. I also give a simple example that there is a storm outside. You are standing outside your home. What you do, you rush inside the home. You don't fight with the storm. You rush inside and close the room. So that is again another metaphor for internal perception and outer situation. So it means, somebody is saying crazy, then I should rush inside the home. No, I am saying rush your mind inside your home so that you maintain the status of calmness. Don't mistake it. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So mine was calm, and it's like that. If I live too much with my variable state of the mind, then it will be difficult to realize my true nature. So, exactly like the example that you gave, if my impression in the mirror keeps on changing, then I will not able to recognize my actual state, actual image,
Beautiful.
and that will also happening with us when we live too much with our like changing mind.
And we don't recognize this changing mind. What do I say? Do you remember? You, honey, you have changed a lot. Do you see that? You have changed a lot. Crazy mind, you take care of yourself. Just see that. It's a very factual, real life situation. And we don't recognize it. Don't recognize means I'm living in ignorance. So what the ignorance will do? Suffering. How are you, Terry?
Um, I just have to continue.
Good. Yes. Continue. Just continue. You see that you understand everything. You may not be able to express because of the challenges. That means that consciousness is the same. It is not changing. It is not variable. I understand it. I'm not able to express it. I understand I'm able to express it. So variables, two variables are outside, but one is constant.
Mm.
That we need to find out. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir. Shivani has
Sir,
changed a lot.
Shivani, I don't know, sir, but I am going to change, and my focus is on me as well, me
Okay.
only, nothing else. If
Shivani
I
is
change,
wife.
if I change, then everything will be changed automatically. Thank you so much, sir. Nothing to us.
Thank you, goodness. Sangeeta.
सर अभी ना कई बार होता है कि कुछ काम कर रही हूँ तो अपने आप मन कर रहा है कि मैं मेडिटेशन करूँ लेकिन कर नहीं पा रही हूँ तो उस टाइम पे मंत्र चलने लग जाता है अपने आप और
क्या नहीं
बड़ा
कर पा रही?
पीस जैसे मैं खाना बना रही हूँ तो मैं बैठ नहीं पा रही हूँ तो खाना बनाते बनाते भी जैसे मंत्र चलने लग जाता है अंदर और बड़ा पीस फील होता है तो वो बड़ी अच्छी स्टेट होती है लेकिन उस टाइम पे मन बेचैन होता है कि मुझे बैठने का मन है कि मैं आंखें बंद करके बैठ जाऊं लेकिन हो नहीं पाता
Yes, she raised a problem also, and she raised a solution also. So while she is cooking in the kitchen, she says that her mind says meditate. But then she has raised another question that my mind is, then I feel that I'm not able to sit for meditation. Solution is so simple solution. Start contemplating and reflecting. Even while you are cooking something, but you can still contemplate and reflect. Invoke the four these apps. The righteous intellect. That is enough to take you to the meditative state. वो जो चार बुद्धि के गुण हैं उनको ले आओ. राइटियस इंटेलेक्ट को कहते हैं धर्म बुद्धि, वैराग्य बुद्धि, प्रेम बुद्धि और तत्व बुद्धि. इन चारों को ले आओ. Awaken those four intellect. Whatever you are doing, you are driving, you can invoke it. You are cooking, you can invoke it. That will make us, prepare us for a higher seeker. Huh? Whether there is a Shivani and no Shivani, you are still happy. Shivani is Ashok's wife. We have been with almost for 25, 30 years now together.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
30 years. So I can crack a joke on him. So that is all. Thank you. Thank you. That is all.
Sir, namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. Sir, thank you.
नमस्ते सर